Boker Tov, Yom Tov, Zorim Tovim, and Lila Tov. No matter where you are at right now, thank you for joining me. If it looks like I'm a little tired today, it's because I am. Have any of you been having your hind ends like totally kicked because of the Schumann resonance? Oh my gosh. All I can do is just laugh. Hi, Treya. Hi, Greg. Glad you guys could make it. I'm laughing because I'm like so cry tired. It's like I'm either gonna cry or I'm gonna laugh because this has just been crazy. So I'm glad that Treya, you're experiencing it too. I know I'm not the only one. It makes me want to cry. I mean, I know these things are important, as I know these energies are coming in and we're getting acclimated to more light. And I totally comprehend that, but dang it, my vessel is just being tossed to and fro. And I'm thankful that I had to go do some weeding today. Hi, Jamie. Do some weeding for somebody this morning because I was able to do some grounding after coming through all of that so I could reorient myself. But I am still just way out of it. So if my eyes even look like I'm drugged, no, I haven't popped anything. It is simply because I'm so tired and I'm still very swimmy from these energies. So I actually wanted to show you. Hello, the other Greg. I've got my two Gregs in the houses. I'm so happy to see you guys. I didn't give you guys much notice on this one, and this is totally on a fly based on a question that somebody asked me. Actually, two questions. And instead of doing a from the heart, I figured I would just go live stream so I could get in touch with you guys again this week because I've entered into a really big schedule and busy, and I'm wanting to finish my Romans journey with you guys in Romans 1. But, it's just business. This is our busy season, and we have to fund ourselves somehow so that we can survive during the winter. So that's what we're doing. So before I get into what I wanted to discuss today, I just wanted to show you a quick peek at the Schumann resonance. I don't know if all of you here are tracking it, but I want you to see it because it's so crazy. So let me pull it up. I'm just laughing. Okay, so this, I know you guys can't see it very well, and when I try to pull it in and zoom up in it's very difficult. It goes to April, and it's so, but if you can actually see all of these white spikes, this is all the stuff that has happened in the month of May. That is crazy. I mean, we had a little bit of quiet time here, and we had a little bit of quiet time here, and a little bit right here. But overall, this month has been so flipping intense. So if I even go to chase this down a little further, we can compare. Look at April. Look at all of the space of nothingness. I mean, yeah, we had some huge spikes, but absolutely nothing compared to what we've been having in May. So you talk about a ramp up. And then when you take a look at what happened here, oh my, it was like no wonder why I slept like cock-a-doodle last night. Oh, it was terrible. It was just terrible. So I'm not, I'm laughing. I'm complaining. I know I shouldn't be complaining. But, I guess misery loves company as all of us are dealing with these energies as well. And I'm grateful for it because more light is flooding our body. And with more light coming in, that's mean more information. That means that our DNA is being changed, and light is also coming in so that we can, uh, you know, basically just be able to deal with more light means stirring up more things that need to be healed. So, I'm very glad that these things are happening. I'm very glad to see you guys joining in the chat room. I love to see you guys converse with one another and also conversing with me. The energy is really good. I appreciate you guys bringing your love and light to these live streams to help me push through too, because I feel your presence, and we're just increasing our light together. It's awesome. So I actually wanted to start with you guys. I just feel like I need to do a little bit of honoring to Source Creator in processing in some of this stuff. So I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. I'm going to pray real quickly for all of us. So hopefully none of you here are offended by that. But I've been feeling it. It's been on my heart, and I just wanted to start out after my silliness antics with the Schumann resonance to be able to share this time with each other. So, Father, Source, and Creator, I thank you for bringing us all here. I thank you for gathering us. I thank you for the information that you're providing within as you direct us through the Spirit, pulling us upward through these steps of ascension as we are growing and maturing, being drawn out of our places of spiritual adolescence into the maturation of the sons and daughters that you created us to be, into the fulfillment of the intention of what you have given us to become in our assignments here. And I'm so very grateful to be part of this and to have incarnated for such a time as this. I thank you for the revealing that you give us through the word. I thank you that there is such amazing light and love in your sacred languages. I thank you that it's a blueprint and a way for us to look deeper within ourselves so that more of you is revealed within us, so that we can continue moving forward and can truly say through experiential knowledge, just like Yeshua said, I and my Father are one. And I thank you that you give us the ability to see that with not only within ourselves, but within each other. So as I look into the eyes of another, I see me in them and I see you in them. And the beauty of us coming together and celebrating with our love and our light as we continue to lift humanity up by removing the things that are obstacles and hindrances, by cutting off the things that are no longer serving us so that more light can be revealed. So things that separate and divide us are actually the catalysts that drive us together and closer, being united in humanity. All the beautiful shades of oneness, the oneness of the many. And I'm so grateful to be living in this time and feeling this shift and being able to experience it with others as we wrestle this all out together, because your wrestle is my wrestle and my wrestle is yours. And I'm grateful, Father, that you've given us the ability to link arms, link shields, to become marvelous comrades with one another as we are walking through this together. So I'm grateful for everyone that comes, and I'm grateful that I can link my arms with everybody that is here and those that are yet to come as we continue doing our work, as we continue in fulfilling our assignments, even if it's just that we are just here to anchor the light. Let it be so. Let our vessels continue to be used for that which will change humanity and lift us into a greater measure of our intention and our becoming as the oneness unity goes forth and we are united truly in the path of unconditional love as we surrender to it and no longer give in to the hate and divide, but continue to see each other through your eyes. I honor that which I do not yet know about you, because I know that in honoring that, in that which is revealed, I get to know myself and my marvelous comrades all that much more. I say this in the frequency, in the name that was embodied by Yeshua, the frequency that would come in the time of need to aid us, support us, give us the ability to see and hear and feel. And I say this through the authority given to me as a daughter of the Most High. Amen. Thank you for letting me do that. I just felt like I needed to do that today and share it and be here with you guys in the moment. So what I would like to, I'm sorry, I need to get settled again. Thank you for having patience with me right now. It's an amazing time to be here. And I just get moved. And that's one of the messy things about being me, is when I get moved, I have tears. And so, for those of you who have a hard time with that, I apologize for it, but yet I don't apologize for it, because it's just the realness of who I am. So What I wanted to talk about first is I wanted to talk about resources. I know the subject matter was talking about do not judge, and we're going to get there, but I had another question about resources. For those of you who want to be able to jump in to the study of the language, I am putting a course together right now. I know I've been saying that for months, but there's been many things that have sidelined me, and I'm really getting myself more into it so that I can teach it, so that you guys don't have to go on the long rabbit trail that my husband and I went to trying to get all these sources and learn all of this and through self-taught through spirit. But so one of the first things that I got was the Strong's Concordance, and this is an older version of it. I mean, obviously you can tell I don't even know what the copyright date of this version is, but this was one of the first books that I got for my study, which was good because in the beginning phases of looking into scripture, this is really the first place where most of us begin to dig to begin to realize that the way that things have been translated aren't necessarily so when you start tracing them down. And of course, this one is going to provide for you the Hebrew and the Greek in the New Testament. And I don't use the Greek because the original writings were in Aramaic. The Greek, it was translated into Greek because of the dispersion. Many of the Hebrews of within the 12 tribes had actually been absorbed into become what they known as Hellenistic Jews. And I mean, that's the term that they're using. And so they were in the Greek culture and they knew the Greek language, but the power was in the Aramaic writings. But because they lost their identity, they didn't know how to read Aramaic or understand it. So it had to get translated into Greek. The Aramaic writings went to the east and the Greek went to the west. And that's why we have in our Strong's Concordance the New Testament as being within Greek. So the next source that I want to share with you is more of what I see as an upgraded version. The etymology, Ernest Klein's Etymology Dictionary of the Hebrew Language. This is probably all reversed to you guys, maybe not. No, maybe you're seeing it right. But if it's backwards, I'm sorry. So it's Ernest Klein's Comprehensive Etymological Dictionary of the Hebrew Language for the readers of English. This actually has a lot more information than Strong does about the words. Again, the etymology, where they came from. This is an incredible resource. However, I will tell you, it is very difficult if you don't know the Hebrew language, because if you don't know the order of the letters, Aleph, Bet, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, it's structured just like our dictionary. And you will, the first time I looked at this, I was like, oh my God, I can't deal with this. I need to set it down for later, because I was having trouble remembering the order of the letters. And it was way too confusing. So Strong's and Strong's numbers, where I could follow the number system, was way the heck easier. But this is my go-to now. This is totally my go-to for the Hebrew. The next resource that I would like to talk about, now these are the books that I've purchased. These are ones that I have. I have been sending you guys to Jeff Benner's, hello. I'm still a little emotional right here, guys. Sorry. I've been sending him to the website, Jeff Benner's Ancient Hebrew Resource Center, and he has incredible books. I haven't bought any. My stepson Jesse has. He said that they are a tremendous resource. But again, if your money's tight, I mean, a lot of this research and stuff that we did was prior to the books. And when I was working as a care provider, I would take my vacation money and I would spend it on resource material. I didn't take a vacation. I bought books. And my stepson always thought that was so funny. He's like, You're not taking a vacation, you're using the money for books." And I'm like, "Yeah, because this I'm investing in myself." So what I'm going to show you next is the absolute Aramaic go-to. This is Janet McGear's work, Light of the Word Ministry. I'll put it up there. You can see Janet McGear down here. This is the Aramaic Peshitta New Testament Dictionary Number Lexicon. This is a huge resource. Now, it is numbered based upon her numbering system, and she has done extensive research in the Aramaic. I am blown away about the years of research that she did. Thank you guys. You say I'm funny. It's called lack of sleep. I'm a little rummy, and the energies are just making me swim. Anyway, so this Peshitta, this dictionary lexicon is very helpful because when you go through it, you can actually look up letter or look up words as well. But it is meant to be used in conjunction with She has volumes 1, 2, and 3 of an interlinear that has her numbering system. So again, if you guys can see the copy of this, you can go to her website called Light of the Word Ministry, to her resource section. She has a publishing section in there, LWM Publications, where her resource material is there. And these aren't cheap. I think these were $50 each. But I'm telling you, I use these all of the time, because even though we're going to go into the Peshitta online, it's very limited with what you can see. So these are incredible. And yes, Greg, I am going to post this. One of the main reasons why I got all of these was so that if the electricity goes down, the grid goes down, I can still study. I have blank notebooks. I started out doing it by hand. I did. I started doing it out by hand instead of using a Word document, and you should see the spiral binders I have of all of my notes in the beginning when I was digging out the book of Revelation, because I think I got through book 6 all by hand. It was tedious work, but it taught me a lot. And so I'm grateful for it, that I went through that for a couple years. But these resources, now I will tell you that if you're going to do things by hand, especially if you're going to use the Strong's Concordance, you're going to need to get a King James Bible if you don't already have one. Not my favorite translation. I'm not one of those people. Well, my thoughts on translations have totally changed, and I'm going to kind of keep those to myself, although I think I've been pretty vocal in the past about them. But Ernest, or the King James, the concordance, Strong's Concordance, uses the King James version of the Bible. So I have my grandmother's old Bible that was passed down to me, and that's what I use. So really, I am self-sufficient in being able to look everything up. So yes, as a wonderful, no, you didn't miss energy, the talk, Lou, just to let you know, you didn't miss anything. I just prayed. I prayed and started crying. That's all you missed. So anyway, those are the resources that I use. Those are the resources that taught me the most. The other thing that you can do is, like, even like I said, with Jeff Benner's website, he has all of the Paleo Hebrew information, and you can go and dig and dig and dig and dig and dig and dig, and find lots of information on the internet. And that's exactly what Ken and I did. And it was spirit led, but it took a lot of time. So I am going to be putting courses together. Like I said, I already started. I just have been trying to figure out how to do it. And my friend Daniel, as you might know him as Daniel David I Am on YouTube, wonderful, wonderful person. I am so grateful I've met him. And his music is amazing. It's a new sound. Um, sorry. I just snorted. That's hilarious. Greg, that's funny. KJV, yuck. That's hilarious. Sorry. I've got the giggles right now because, again, I'm very rummy from lack of sleep. Anyway, you can glean a lot. So I'm hoping to set forth. Sometimes I laugh at myself. I'm going to set forth these classes for you so that you can go ahead and go through them to make it a lot easier, a lot more streamlined. And I might be off of YouTube for a bit, or off of Facebook, really focusing in so I can assist you guys sooner than later, because I know many of you have been asking about it, but I have to get focused. So now that I've got the resources, and hopefully that will answer, because I did have a question on Facebook this morning. This is being posted on Facebook. I will probably timestamp it too, so that people will realize that I did discuss that in the first little bit. So if they're looking just for that information, but this is going to lead us now to the other question I had, and I did post it on the Restream, and I think it might have posted it on YouTube or Facebook, what we were going to talk. But I wanted to share with you the question that I had presented to me, because I thought this was super fantastic. Uh, I've had this question before, and I think I've addressed it before, but you know what? It's been a while, so it's actually a good thing for me to readdress this, because um, I've discussed about this many times, and other people are as well, and I really feel like we need to bring clarity to it. So the question was, here's the question. I was wondering if you could explain something to me when you have time. I listened to you and Barbara Symons. I don't know if it's Simons or Simmons. I am so sorry if I, butchered your name. I'm going to say for now it's Barbara Symons, talking about not judging. Yet, I thought the purpose of duality is to learn to judge between good and evil, and that Mother teaches us that. No? I've gone through abuse at the hands of others in my life. I had to learn a lot about my own shortcomings as well as others. I certainly do not judge people as deserving of punishment or hell or any of that stuff. However, life is full of decisions, so it seems like we are always having to make judgment calls daily in some fashion. Could you tell me what it means that we are not to judge? I love that. Beautifully stated question. And I get why you would ask that. First of all, yes, duality is about judging. What we have to realize is that we have two places that we are growing and maturing in. So we have spiritual adolescence, and I have to liken it this way. If we were raised in a Hebrew culture, or which I'm hoping eventually we will be able to begin this as a way of raising our children, because I'm telling you, if we had been raised in an environment like this, things would be totally different today. Well, they would be so different. But again, all of this was meant for us to learn. We had to go into and be in darkness, which is in our ignorance, so that when the light would come, we had something to compare. So I get it. But when we raise children up in this Hebrew perspective, it translates spiritually. So, you can't affect the spiritual without having it affect the natural as well, because they go hand in hand. We are triune beings, and we are what is it? Mind, body, spirit complex. I think that's what the law of one says. I was blown away when that material showed up on my door, like a year and a half ago. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's all about Hebrew. But as the spirit, body, mind complex, we are complex beings. We are all connected in all these three areas. So you can't have one area that doesn't affect the other. So in our maturation, so from 0 to 12, we're really in adolescence. And that translates into our spiritual maturation or spiritual adolescence as well, from 0 to 12. Then we get into spiritual maturation that goes from 12 years and beyond. So when we are in mother's teaching, we are actually within the system of duality in our spiritual adolescence. Again, I'm not judging. I'm not saying that this is good, bad, or indifferent. It just is. We all have to grow up and mature spiritually. I know I am completely different than I was 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 and 40. I'm 48 right now. So I've had lots of time to go through this growth process. So duality is meant for 0 to 12. And within 0 to 12, we have maturation that we need to get to from point A to point B. And Mother shows us this in duality, the choice of this and that, and the good and the evil. That has to present itself. It's all about comparisons so that we can make the ultimate decision in, are we going to serve self or serve others? Because that's all it is. So, I heard something yesterday about keeping it simple. Totally get it. Totally agree. I'm a KISS principle person. Keep it simple, silly. Keep it, I don't like saying stupid. So we're going to keep it simple, silly. We're going to make it as easy as possible. Choose to serve others or choose to serve yourself. That's really what Mother's job is. And through the comparisons, based upon what you're going to do, are you going to enter into the right hand path? What the right hand, aka righteousness? Not trying to use religious terms, but these are terms that we comprehend. So that's what that means, going to the right hand. That is the way of light. Or are we going to go into the left hand path, into the place of darkness, which is service to self? It's all about self absorption and taking the light and absorbing the light, not reflecting it back. And so that is the dark, hidden, esoteric teachings that are only meant at that point, if you enter into the left hand path, to serve self. So, why does it say do not judge? Well, hopefully, I laid a little bit of a foundation in us deciding what path we're going to go and why the judging is most important within the spiritual adolescence side. And I like that, Greg. I see that discernment, not judgment. Yes, but no. I mean, yes, and that's what my husband would say. Because the judgment part of it is in our spiritual adolescence. And discernment is part of that, being able to discern through judging, comparing, because that's all it is, comparisons, to be able to choose this or that. And really, it is about us. It's all an internal work, but we don't know that in spiritual adolescence. In spiritual adolescence, everything's on the outside. We're orienting ourselves completely on the outside. How we relate to people, how we relate to God outside of us, right? It's all that orientation on the external side. So, of course, we're going to judge. That's how we grow. That's how we grow. When we get to spiritual maturation, then, spiritual maturation is when we realize we are judging ourselves only. That is the inward orientation. Because there's something that we find out along the way. We learn the mirror principle. This was actually I just love how spirit works. And all of you guys know this. Stuff that Ken and I are sharing is not new to you. You already know this stuff. All we're doing is showing the word to back it up. So if spirit's already revealed it to you, all of a sudden you can go, oh, I can really trust the spirit because that's what the spirit told me, led me into. I already knew this stuff. I'm like, of course. Well, it was written to back it up. So that's all we're doing. I'm not telling anything that you don't know. I'm just sharing with you what the word is saying so that we can trust that the lead of the spirit has been leading us in the right direction. So going back to the judging on the inside, this mirror principle, the spirit shared this with me. It wasn't actually too long ago the spirit shared it. You can go back on the YouTube channel and I shared something about it. And I had people say, oh, well, that's the Hall of Amentes. That's what Thoth was teaching. And then other spiritual teachers. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. So the mirror principle is that when we're when we see things in other people and we begin to judge them, it's judgment on us because it's really they're giving us the ability to see that which we need to change within us. It's so different when we think about it. So every time I have an interaction or I see something or something affects me externally, I now know it's a mirror. I'm like, oh, 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 I need to fix me. This isn't about them. This is all about me here. And what that did is that released me from having to adjudicate other people because I'm not supposed to. They are just simply a mere reflection of that which I need to deal with. Totally get it. And the word does the same thing. So when you get into the sacred writings of the Hebrew and Aramaic, how you see and how you take a look at them and translate them is directly connected to that which is inside of you. It is a mirror of you. So, having said that, this judging not let you lest you be judged, why don't we now dig in and see what the Aramaic is saying? Now, again, I am sharing from 5 years of the study that I have done based upon how I see right now. You will probably see something different. I am just sharing revelations, not to say this is it. This is what I'm seeing based upon what the letters are sharing, based upon the amount of light that I have been able to gather at this point. So it's up to you of what you're going to do with this information. And this is why I want to be able to share with you how to do this, because I don't want to keep feeding you. I want you to be able to feed yourself because I don't want anybody dependent upon me. That's the wrong mentality. That's been the problem. And we've been dependent upon preachers and teachers that have been feeding us a regurgitated message instead of doing the study ourselves. It's here, it's meant to. And when we look at the light, the letters, they are light frequency information. So we compress light on the inside. We're not taking a message from somebody else through an English word that is telling us how it is. We are literally letting the letters of light compress light within us. That's another reason why I love studying it. It is directly from source, creator energy to lift us up and to illuminate us from the inside out. More light. More light means that we have higher levels of consciousness. Higher levels of consciousness allows us to see differently, to come up and out of the system of duality so we're not judging externally. We go on the inside. So hopefully that helps assist in sharing that. So, oh, I just saw that, Greg Miffy. I love that. Keep it simple, sweetheart. I like that better. Keep it simple, sweetheart, instead of keep it simple, silly. But I'm silly today, so I'm a little over the top, and I do apologize for that. If my husband was here in the with me in the other room, he'd be going like, "Oh my God, turn it off, Carrie, turn it off." But this is the silly side of me. I guess you guys need to see that I'm not always so dang serious all the time. I like to have fun and have a good time in this. Let's go to the Peshitta. Let's see what Matthew 7 has to say. That's where we're going to be digging today. And hopefully this won't be super long. We're already 30 minutes into it. Can you believe it? I need to stop talking and start sharing. Okay. So that would be the wrong thing I want to look at. Let's get to the other page. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to look at, we're looking at Matthew 7:1. Judge not that you be judged. That's John Etheridge's work. And then we have good old King James here down the bottom. Judge not that ye not be not judged. And then we're going to take a quick peek into 7:2, that for with the judgment that you judge, you shall be judged, and with the measure that you meet, it shall be measured unto you. First verse, very, very quickly. And I absolutely, I love the language and I get excited and I adore it. My love language is words of affirmation. So, literally, when I am looking at this, this is a love letter from Creator Source to me and to my heart. So, that's why I get so moved. That's why I'm word oriented. And I don't expect everybody to be, but that's where I'm at. And so when I look at this stuff, it does move me to tears because it's my own personal love letter. I see it that way. We should be making these things personal to us because it's written to us, for us, and about us to raise us up. So the very first word that we're looking at is the lo. And the Lamed Aleph just means, and I'm going to be going through this quickly so I don't take a lot of your time today because I have very little energy. In fact, I think I don't even want to tell you how many cups of coffee I've had today because we all know how acidic that makes you, and that's not wise, but I want to talk to you today. So here we go, cup of joe. So the Lamed means to instruct and teach, and Aleph is a representation of one. So in the very beginning of this verse, it's already telling you, instruct yourself in the way of one. So the letters of light and love are going to come and assist you. This is also a staff of authority, which is attached to a teaching shepherd of light that is going to be teaching you the way of one. But really, it's the letters that teach us. You might have a teacher say, okay, the Lamed means this and the Aleph means that. But through the spirit, the letters are going to be your that which is teaching you. So that's what it's telling you to do. Get instruction in the way of one. And I have shared before that this symbol of the Aleph is actually two yods that are connected by a Vav, and in Gematria, Yod is 10 and Vav is 6. So when you add those together, it comes to 26, which is the same exact total of Yod He Vav He in Gematria. So this is becoming one with Yod He Vav He, and we've already shared that that is the pre-incarnate Yeshua, Sophia combination of the God of this world that was totally bastardized through many different translations, and especially with the translations in some of the Gnostic texts. And I want to correct that because we need to have this Yod He Vav He giving us the power through the twin revelation so we can connect at the heart level, as that's really a simple explanation of Yod He Vav He. So that's all in the first word. Then we get into the word judge. And in the middle of this is dun. Dun, um, if we were looking at it Hebrew, it would be Dan, it would be Dalet Noon. But this is now looking at the divine feminine nature. And what do we have? We have the Vav now. So as Dan, the door to life, because that's really what judging is, the door to life, connect that, because the job of the judge is to bring a righteous and prosperous life to the people, that this is the inside work now. So the divine feminine is helping us work on the inside. So in looking at what I'm sharing with you, this is actually a message for those who are the spiritually mature, not the spiritual adolescents. This is for an advanced teaching to be able to get us up out of being adolescent to be in the maturation as the bride becoming the queen or king Melchizedek. So in judging, we can see that this Vav has been in the place on the inside, which connects you to source creator on the inside. In other words, this pierces your heart. So what this is already saying, because we have the Tav on the front side, so prefix is dealing with mother's teaching, is that right here, this is letting us know that this verse is written to the spiritually immature that have passed mother's teaching, because this has the mark. That Tav, that's what Tav means. The mark, sign, signature, fingerprint of mother means you've already completed your journey of mother's teaching. So Matthew 7:1 is being written to the spiritually advanced, not the spiritual adolescent ones. Because in spiritual adolescence, we wouldn't learn the way of one, because we wouldn't know that yet. We would just say, we would see it as Do not judge, because there's a covenant that you need to learn, which is a door that will connect you to life, that connects you to life. I mean, that's really in simplistic mother way of seeing this. But in this case, this is already saying that you've been marked with mother's covenant. You've been connected to your heart's been pierced, you took the spiritual path that was connected to your flesh suit. Because the Vav Nun, this is on the suffix side, so this is talking about father. So this is one who is standing in meekness, power under control while they're in the flesh. So again, that is why this is a spiritually mature message here already, because mother tames the beast. And that is showing you that you are connected to father while you're in the flesh, because now you have power under control. You have your beast ego and you've subjugated it. You are the sovereign over you, because this noon, if judging was standing on its own, this would be a fallen noon here, but it's over here. So this is actually showing you that you took the spiritual path that allowed you to connect to father, giving you power, meekness, power under control while you're still in the flesh suit in the material world. And noon is actually the Aramaic word for fish. And it means to propagate and to bring forth perpetuity, an heir to the throne. Very amazing to see that. Then what do we see? Then we have that not again, right? That you not be judged. But what's added to it now? The dalet, the door. Think of Yeshua, I am the door. And when you combine these two letters together, you have the word dal, that means weak, feeble, and dangling. A poor man or poor woman, a poor individual that has that is lean. It's interesting that leanness spiritually is not good. Fatness spiritually is what we want. So this is letting us know that in entering into the judging position, that it's meant to be go through the door to the inward man, so that it can be revealed to you your lean position and being weak and feeble, that you're dangling, something is dangling, and that beast ego is what is keeping you weak and feeble and lean and poor, spiritually poor, so that you can deliver yourself from it. And that is through the instructions in the way of one. So really, it is the door inwardly that is going to instruct you in how to become one. You cannot do it externally. It's an inward job. It's an all inside job, like my husband says. And then we get into the word judged again, but notice that now we have two covenants. This has been added. Both of these tavs have been added to the prefix of the word for judge. The twin covenants. This is the pattern of the cherubim on the top of the ark of the covenant, aka the ark of the testimony, so that you become a witness. Two witnesses right here, the witness and the testimony of the mother and of the father, having their mark, sign, signature, frequency change of their covenants of one who has completed the journey, because they judged themselves, self-adjudicated, which gave them the power, because Yod means power. It means the work and deed of the hand. Power means in direction, because now this Yod is on the inside. So you had to connect and have your heart pierced here first. Now you have the power on the inside, because you took the spiritual path that was connected to your material flesh in the material world. But now you have the witness and the testimony, the two witnesses that are saying, yeah, this is what self-adjudication was about. But again, all of this stuff, you wouldn't see that. You wouldn't understand and comprehend this in the English without seeing what the letters are doing. Because these twin covenants are on the suffix, it's showing that mother is presenting both of them to you. She has to. She has to prepare you for them, because they're meant to lead you. That's why they're in the front. That's why they're not on the other side over here. They're on the front side, that which leads you. I'm hoping that's connecting here, so that you can have a prosperous life, bringing as the door to life that gives you power on the inside. Now, hopefully that makes sense there. I'm going to check really quick with you guys to see if you can If you guys got questions here. Interesting. Was Yeshua the king of the Jews? That's a great question, Christopher. I'll have to answer that at the end. And was Jesus a Jew? Well, he says he was from the tribe of Judah, the Judahites. But honestly, why does it matter? Because again, when we ask questions like that, we're comparing. We are isolating, we are separating. He was the messenger and the light for the world. So if we want to place him somewhere, I would then ask why. Why do we need to place him? Why do we need to have him attached to a nationality? Why do we have to have him attached to a tribe? Why can't he just be the messenger that brought forth the light to show us the way of one? The way of one, which they conveniently left off and just added the way. That's just my question that I would throw back to you. So when we get caught up in being able to put stereotypes on, we lose the whole message. Yeah, you're born into a culture. Yeah, you're born in a certain group of people. Yeah, you're born with a certain skin color. But it's the message that was most important, not his nationality. And it's important for us to realize that we're not taking sides. And yeah, I do see that, Christopher, that I think is too much speculation about the what ifs, of course. Because really, we should be discussing about what is, not the what ifs. Because if we're talking about the what ifs, we're not living here in the now. This is our experience right now. This is our chance to make a difference right now in our now and not worry about the what ifs. That's fear based, honestly. Well, what if this? What if that? Well, what if? What if you became in your moment now, which is really what these languages are telling us. So let's get in here a little bit further and talk about, I shared the first verse, now let's get into the second verse, because this is really where the really good stuff is. We already see that this is already saying that this message is for the spiritually mature, not the spiritually adolescent. So, might have questions that may not coincide with that, and I'm okay with that. I can answer those questions. But this is a message for those who have gone through the 0 to 12 maturation process, that are already betrothed, that are already set apart, that are already the bride, that are working on becoming Melchizedek king and queens, that are of the right path. So let's get back in and dig. Okay, before I do that, Scott Fabian, yes, Yeshua is. That's pre-incarnate. Um, that is a combination of Yeshua and Sophia, aka the Holy Spirit, that are the seraphic teachers, messengers, the God of this world, that are assisting us into maturation. So very good. It's not off topic because it totally applies, because everything is connected, and that is where I just explained about the Yod He Vav He being connected to the Aleph of being one. I and my Father are one. Interesting, if we go a little deeper there, but I do want to get back to the scripture. So let's take a look, and you're welcome. You're welcome. Let's look into, I need to go back into the message here and get into the Peshitta. That doesn't help. That's a blank page. Let's try that again. Again, silly goofiness today, lack of sleep will do that. Let me make sure that I might have actually, oh no, I know why. There we go. You just got to hit the right buttons. It's amazing how when you hit the right buttons and you do it correctly, you can actually share the right page. At least I'm hoping. I don't know why it's doing this. Have patience with me, guys. Sleep will be very helpful. Okay, I believe that I am there. So second verse reads, "For with the judgment that you judge, you shall be judged, and with the measure that you meet, it shall be measured to you." So again, we've moved into that Dalet Noon again, but this time we have the Bet in front of it. So we took the Dalet Yod Noon, through the judging on the inside, again, spiritual maturation here, we're judging ourselves on the inside, digging that out because we've been given the power to do so on the inside with the yud, the work indeed of our hand, the inside work. We have the bet added on front of it. And so we know that this is already telling us bet means inside. In simple paleo, it means inside. But this is also the letter that means to build, to spiritually build family, to build on the inside. And it's connected to the temple. So we're building ourselves by going through the door of the inner man where we begin power to walk the spiritual path. And the aleph has been added now on the suffix. And we have the word na means I beseech thee. So really, what is being spoken is, I beseech thee that you build yourself on the inside, that you begin to judge yourself on the inside, because this is the spiritual path. And we have a word here that in representation, the gur, the sojourner, that is the sojourner, of this world, or in this world, but not of the world, the sojourner that has been given power on the inside. And then we have judge again, but now we have the dalit, and we have two doors here. So before we had the two tovs, now we have the two dalits. These are two doors, twin doors that you must walk through. You first must walk through mother, then father. Because mother is showing you the the external orientation where we're judging between this and that, right and wrong, black and white, good and evil, to then be able to go to the door through the inner man to reveal us the power necessary to take that spiritual path, elevated flesh, no longer in the fallen flesh, but elevating our flesh, because we were given the power to overcome the fallen flesh in the material world. And then we have one of my favorite words, Antun. I have shared this with you before. This is the gift that was given to us by the bridegroom. This is directly connected to that which Yeshua was giving us. This is directly given to us as a reflection of the gift that was given by the bridegroom to the bride as a betrothal gift to get us ready for our wedding day. And what's so fascinating about this? This is a representation of the Word made flesh, giving us the ability. And that is represented because we have the Aleph and the Tav. Whenever you see the Aleph Tav, this is the summation, the summary journey of the Aleph through the Tav. So if I say alphabet, you guys already know that that's A through Z. If I say the Aleph Tav, it's the summary of the Aleph Bayit Ivri, the Hebrew alphabet, or the Aramaic, which is the Asherit Katav. And right in the middle is the risen noon, which is elevated flesh. So these are the Aleph Tav that makes up the language, the word made flesh from the inside out, connected to our flesh suit that we're in right now. This is an amazing, amazing word. And when I saw it and it was revealed, I wept. Because I knew that this was being given to us. This is why I love the languages so much, because it's literally giving us the blueprint of how to become the Word made flesh. And this was the gift that Yeshua gave to us. That's why the Aramaic is so profound, because you do not see this in Greek. It was kept from us. And now we go back to that judge again with the twin covenants. So again, the pattern of the Ark of the Covenant, the mother and father. So this is showing you that the doors, you have to go through them in order to be marked with them. And in reality, because it's on the front side, this is actually dealing with the body and the soul at the soul level. So you can think of that in the mind, will, and emotions of the soul. That which leads you. It's on the prefix. Because again, Hebrew and Aramaic are read from right to left. And we have the same process of the judging. Then we're going to get into the word about measure. But before I get in, I'm going to just pop in, see how you guys are doing to see if you guys have any comments. Hello, Renee Gade. It's nice to see you. Okay, it looks like we're doing good. So now we're going to actually get into, and hopefully you guys are seeing this and not that other one. Yeah, I think you are, because I highlighted. So this is the word for measure, and uh, it's very interesting to see what this word is. So I'm going to pull up because again, I like to dig out these kind of things in my resource material and not just take with the what they're sharing with the Peshitta. Should have had my glasses on. So if you see me squinting, it's because I don't have them. They're not by my bedstand right now. So this word, Kaf Yod Lamed, I've only highlighted the first two letters here, but the Kaf Yod Lamed means to measure, and it means to comprehend, contain, and measure. So there is a connection here to the Arabic language, kail, which means a measure for grain. And that's very important because we've been talking about the wheat bride and the barley bride. But there is, so this has to do with comprehension, to comprehend, to contain, and to measure. Well, what is being measured here? Well, this is really profound, and you wouldn't know this unless you know the language to understand that these three letters here, there's a gematria. So again, every Hebrew and Aramaic letter has a number value. When you take those number values and you add them together, you will get a total. Any word that has the same total is connected. So there are two words that are connected to this as a standard, as a measure, as to comprehend. And one of them is yakol, where the yod would be moved on the front side of it, and it means to be able and to have power. And we did connect this to even the word mag, which is the root of magi, magicians, that was the same exact definition, to be able to have power, yod, kaf, lamed. Yod means power, means in direction. Kaf means power to grasp a hold of it. Lamed means instruction. And kaf lamed means to be whole and to be completed. So this is to be able to have power, to as to comprehend, as a standard, as a measure of the grain, whether it be barley bride or wheat bride. And kaf lamed, without the yod on the middle, this is the bride who has the crown. This is so important to see this here. So to grasp a hold of the power, grasp a hold, being tamed, yoked, because that's also what kaf represents, and it's kaf pei. So grasping hold, taming, yoking through the pei, the mouth that brings forth revelation, through the sacred languages that give you power on the inside, that will instruct you in the ways of light and love, which is for the bride, so she can be crowned, having power on the inside. Now, all of that, when you see it, we have bet tov, which is bat, which is daughter, which is the word for worthy and deserving. And it makes bet tov aleph, when you pronounce it, bata, which means ark, as in the box, the chest, the ark of the covenant, the ark of the testimony. And so when you look at this measure, it's saying connect to mother, build yourself on the inside, build it, bet tov, second letter, 22nd letter, through the path of 222, the two paths of the 22 letters, the Hebrew and the Aramaic, so that you can tame yourself, grasp a hold of the power through the instruction, so you can be marked. Tavav, which is a literal word that means to be exempt from judgment because you've entered into becoming one. I'm pausing here because this is the blueprint. This is explaining exactly what the process of judging looks like from the external to the internal and why we do it. Then we move on to the same word where it says meat. This has to do with measuring. But now we have dalet mem. This has to do with the blood, dam. And if you take aleph and dam, because these words are right next to one another, Adam, that's mankind. Dam is blood, or the juice of the grape, also can mean bloodshed. But this is the door when we entered into the waters of chaos, because that's what the mem means. By entering into the doors of the waters of chaos, we had to go through this process. We needed to be tamed. We needed to grasp hold of the power on the inside to instruct us so that we could be given the Father's power to deal with us. and deal with our fallen flesh while in the material world. And then we have on tune again. So we have on tune twice here. The words made flesh. Ah, the gift that was given to us so we could become the word made flesh, just like Yeshua. And then we have measured one more time. But look at this. This is incredible. This is the word for death. So in having said that, when we enter into the waters of chaos, we already enter into death because we have an expiration on our flesh suit. But it's through the twin covenants, the pattern on the Ark of the Becoming, for the Betah, the Bet Tov, the daughters, going from the son, Bana, Ben, to the daughters, which is just frequency changes of the worthy and deserving because they went through the twin covenants. And did you notice that both the times when we've seen these, they both have the dagesh in it, which means you've been pierced by them. And when I mean pierced, yes, people can get hung up and say, oh, he's talking sexual orientation here. No, I'm not talking about physical sex. I'm talking about spiritual intimacy that comes from the piercing because our hearts get pierced and it changes our frequency so that we become something different than the poor and the destitute and the lean and the poor and the needy and the beggar. Because when we came through the waters of chaos, we forgot who we are. But through the twin covenants, it's meant for us to grasp a hold of the power within the sacred languages that give us the power that we need to give us a direction and a mean through the teachings of light so that it'll be measured to you. Last word here. This is profound because this is a standalone lamed. And the lamed by itself, in its original meaning, is to sting, goad, prick, instruct, teach, join, unite. So this staff of authority, because it means authority, from a teaching shepherd of light through the letters of light and love is to do what? Well, the kaf of noon is added on the suffix side. And if you watched any of my other teachings, you would know what this means. And I'll explain it to you. But through the letters, it's letting us know that, again, we're taming ourselves. We're taming that beast ego nature. The one that causes all of the issues of our life, that causes the chaos, the pain, and the suffering, because we inflict it on other people, they inflict it on us, because it's really the beast ego that is projecting on other people the crap and garbage that's on the inside of us, because we're not willing to tame it. But this is saying the instructions will do that, to tame and to yoke it as a vessel that is willing to be filled, that now has the power under control, because they grasped a hold of the sacred languages that allowed them to connect to Father, now having power under control while they're in their flesh suit in the material world. And what does kun mean? What does the suffix mean? This is a word, and it means to be set up and to be established, to be firm. You want to be able to stand firmly? Well, this is letting you know how to do it. It's one thing when the Spirit leads us, and if you don't have the assurity of it, you're going to be going back and forth, flipping and flopping. Did I really hear that? Was that what it really meant? But when you can see things in the language and see that it is meant to be firmly established, that the languages help you to firmly establish, to know that what you've heard from the Spirit is true, then you can stand firm. You can be set up and you can be established. I don't know about you, but that is like celebratory for me, because that means the foundation I stand upon cannot be shook. It's already been shook. Deconstructing all of that garbage that I thought and believed about who God was, who I was not, into who I am. It also means to straighten and to direct. To determine exactly. To straight and direct, to determine exactly through the instruction of how to tame and deal with the fallen flesh. So you can stand firm and you can be established. That is so fascinating. I love it. So hopefully you can see how incredible it is to see now what judging is talking about. Going from the external, which is the black and the white, mother's teaching this and that, good and evil, to get to the place to spiritually maturing ourselves by going on the inside, using that mirror principle, realizing it's about us. It is all about you. It's about your spiritual maturation so that we can find unconditional love on the inside so we can manifest it on the outside, so that we can become the light so we can show the way, just like Yeshua did. But now the baton is being passed to us in the latter day generation to be that for the others that are around us. But we have to go through the process of spiritual maturation. And you know what? A lot of time it sucks. I'm going to be honest. It is not fun. It is not fun to face your shadow. It is not fun to see the things where you're weak and feeble. It's not fun to admit that you have these areas you need to work upon. But when we come together and we link shields and we link arms as marvelous comrades, we come alongside as an adversarial friend to say, you know what? That isn't very becoming. I love you that much to tell that to you. Because when I tell that to you, because I'm seeing it, I'm also adjudicating myself. I'm self adjudicating. So I'm an adversarial component to myself as well, whenever I open my mouth. And if we can see that, we can help assist one another to help mature, get us out of the lack of maturity into the spiritual maturity so we can become. And there's a literal roadmap. And it has been written in the word and it has been concealed and obfuscated through English. And it has been here all along for the generation that would have the eyes to see it, that would be spiritually searching it out to be able to validate the journey that we are already on, to see that there is validity to it. It was always there. It just wasn't time for it to be revealed because now we're at the time of the end of the epoch, the switching into something new, and we need to compress more light within us so that we can stand the pressure of the light that's coming in. Because I showed you the Schumann resonance. That is all the frequency of light coming in, and our vessels need to be prepared. So the more that we compress light within us, the more we can handle the light that's coming in because it's going to get more intense. So this is why we're going through all of this. Yes, the ego does mean well, it needs boundaries. And so when we're dealing with becoming unconditional love, when we're working around people that aren't there yet, you better believe we need to establish boundaries because they're in spiritual adolescence and they're still trying to orient themselves around. And we already shared with you what evil is. Evil is the adolescents, the children that are doing harm to other people. Shared that with you. So yes, you do have to have boundaries. Unconditional love doesn't mean you get to do whatever you want to me. Because when we get to that place where we love ourselves unconditionally, we value relationships and we want to protect them. This isn't the beast ego trying to protect out of fear. This is one who has reached spiritual maturation that wants to protect the relationship between you and I. Because I love myself so much. I want to protect myself because I see you in me. We are one. And the boundaries are there to protect one another so that the relationships still can foster, so we can still link shields as we're helping lift one another up. So that if you are not becoming, then we have a way to deal with it so it doesn't cause damage. We've hurt each other far too long. We need to be done with that. We need to get out of that spiritual immaturity and stop hurting one another. We need to lift one another. We need to love one another. We need to encourage and support and bring more light into our relationships. Stop the separation, stop the division, stop the comparison. Turn it on the inside and take a look at what's going on you first. If you see something on the outside, it's you. It's you. They're coming into your life in this moment to show something about you that you may not want to see. If there's feelings, same thing. If there's feelings that are coming up inside of you and you're in relationship with somebody else, check and see why those feelings are coming up because it's you. It's not them. It's you. That's why I wanted to go over this scripture. This has been on the back burner for a while and I'm really glad that I was asked this. I hope it clarifies I went longer than I wanted to. I'm so tired. But I really wanted to go through this because I've had to wrestle these things. And so when I saw this in the writings, it freed me. It showed me the path. It showed me the direction. It showed me why and the spiritual maturation and why we're building and what we're doing so that we can overcome that which is holding us back in the waters of chaos because we entered into death so that we can find life and have it abundantly. If we're still in the death position, if we haven't flipped it to find life, if we haven't found Chava to the Chet, as Chava was taken out of mankind, if we haven't found life, we're still living in death. And that means Memtov. That means we're still in chaos. And I don't know about you, but I am so over that for my life. I have done what I can to rise above it. I don't have the chaos on the inside anymore because this is inside work. If you still have chaos in your life, it's manifesting externally because there's something chaotic on the inside of you. And I love you so much to tell you that because I had to wrestle it. I have a healing testimony. I've shared it before, and I'm going to share it again because I'm not afraid to share it. I am very excited that the grace was given to me. I used to have multiple personalities. I was fractured. I had complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And I can say to you today, I am fully integrated because I was willing to face these things, to find my pieces. Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men could not put Humpty Dumpty back together again, but the spirit did. And because I was willing to face all of those pieces, I was able to take all of my multiple personalities and integrate them back into one. I couldn't teach, I couldn't share what I'm sharing with you today unless I healed. And I was told it was going to be impossible. I would have to learn to manage it. But if you talk to anybody that's in my circle of influence, the people that are in my space, my family, my friends, they see it, they know it, and it's a testimony because the only thing I did different is I studied the language and the letters of light came into me and gave me more light to illuminate the fact that I had multiple personalities to begin with because I didn't know I had them. You talk about an awakening, scared the crap out of me. What am I going to do with this mess? How much damage have I done to other people in being a child and being so fractured, and stop blaming the other people and take responsibility for it? So I know the power of these languages. So if somebody says they don't matter, well, it mattered to me. I healed because of it. And that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. Because when it shifts your mind and it brings more light in, you can gather the pieces and you can assemble yourself. That's what the Gimel is all about. Gathering and assembling the instructions that lift you up from being poor and needy to being a rich man. If you listen to my husband's poem, I Am, it finishes up with, I am a rich man because I've been lifted up. So I wanted to share that with you because I'm not afraid to say I was really fractured in many pieces and I didn't think I could be put back together, but I did. And I'm here and I'm sharing this with you today. So we do continue to self-adjudicate. That's where it lies in spiritual maturation. We can't get away with it. We're going to continue to self-adjudicate, fine-tuning us in becoming in the image and the likeness of the one that showed us the way to Yeshua, so that the Christ anointing can be made manifest in us. It's already there. It's just laying dormant. We just need to do the work. He didn't do it for us. He showed us how to do it and said, hey, follow after me. You need to pick up your cross. And that's a whole nother teaching. But it is our work that we do so the Christ in us can be activated. The Mashiach, which is the oneness unity, taking us out of the waters of chaos, going through the consuming fire that purifies us so we can find life and oneness in unifying us, the quantum field of oneness, so that we can be healed, restored, whole, have the anointing, have our lamps filled with oil, compress light, work on our garments of light, because the day of revealing is going to happen. That's why I've been sharing with you Khalef, where I was sharing with you the other day about Yeshua in the Mount of Transfiguration, and the same word was being used within in the twinkling of an eye that we would be changed? Same thing. But we need to compress and have more light within us so that we can handle these frequencies that are coming in because they are kicking our butts. But we need it. And more light means more stuff is going to be surfacing. The more stuff surfaces, we got to deal with our junk. It's time to deal with our junk. So the self-adjudicating needs to be on the outside now. Stop judging on the outside, start judging on the inside because we need to get rid of it. We need to get rid of these lower frequencies. We need to transmute them. We need to do our shadow work and realize that we have the potential of good and evil. Reconcile them. Know that you are. Stop judging yourself harshly and saying, I'm so all out of this, but I need to be afraid of the evil. I need to run away. No, you have the potential of it, but doesn't mean that you're going to do it. You just have the potential. So does the creator. That's what creates creation, opposing frequencies. And we get to experience it. We get to live through it. This is our school of divinity to raise us up so we remember who we are and we can be healed and whole and we can take the rest of humanity with us through the ascension process, the maturation. So don't get hung up on the word ascension, New Age movement. It's the process of maturation. Let's keep it simple. We need to grow up. We just need to grow up. The world needs it. I need it. You need it. We all need it so we can help each other. So thank you guys for being here today. Thank you for being here on the fly. Thank you for helping me support. I feel your energy. It allowed me to go through and yeah, I know Joe helps too, but I would rather have energy from your love and support and light so that I can share these things with you because we're all wrestling this together. And I don't have all the answers. I learned so much from you guys. I hope that we can do that together because we all have a part to play in this grand game of life. And we all have what we need to bring to the tables your piece, my piece, their piece, our pieces, so that we can come together and do what we were sent in to do. We all matter. And if you don't think you're doing anything, you are anchoring the light. And that is critical. So let it flow through you. Do your shadow work so the light can be anchored into the earth so that we can all keep moving forward and take these amazing energies that are coming through and put it in the grid system to affect not only earth, but every inhabitant that lives on the face of this earth. I love you guys very much. And I truly mean that. Shalom, shalom, and namaste.